We're seeing more and more bikes fitted with these electric gears, especially in bike racing, but are they actually any good for your normal riders? Today I have the YT Capra fitted with SRAM's X01 AXS electric shifting, and I'm going to be telling you how it is to actually have as a normal rider, what are the advantages, what are the negatives, and some tips to help you make sure that you get the best experience with it. Whoa. Starting off nice and simple, I think the drivetrain looks really nice and neat. The chain's slightly different where it's got a flat top, and I think that looks really cool. Same with the cranks, and the drivetrain itself just looks really nice and chunky and just gives it a really cool look on the bike. Having electric gears also provides a really nice clean setup on the bike. As you would know, just like this bike, a lot of bikes will go in with internally routed cables to make it look nice and clean. But they can be a little bit of a faff when you're dealing with them, trying to get them in and out of the frame. And it just looks so much cleaner having this nice smooth shifter where no cables at all, keeps everything nice and clean. It's going fast. Properly overgrown here compared to what I used to be like. Let's talk about one of the really big benefits of this drivetrain, and that is the durability of it. So when this first came out, you would have noticed that there was a bit of a torque because rather than a derailleur hanger, this derailleur mounts directly to the frame. So all those crazy videos you would have saw of people jumping on the derailleur or the bike just swinging in testing, that just goes to show you that this derailleur can withstand loads, which can be really beneficial because we don't really want to be spending loads of money, keep buying new derailleurs for our bikes. Should have taken the high line. The other significant benefit about this drivetrain is how fast it can shift. Now this could be really beneficial for racing, and that's why I think it's going to really dominate. But how does it work, and how does that help for just normal riders like us? Well, the truth is, we're all still riding fast, and we also want to go as fast as we possibly can. And the fact that with this drivetrain you can just change so quick because it is super fast. But also what's even more strange but actually really cool is that this particular design, it actually shifts better the more you put pressure on the cranks. So before we always used to let off and let the bike change gear, where now you can just keep attacking, stay in that zone and just keep pedaling as hard as you can. So for those of you who are into Strava, this is probably going to be an upgrade that you're going to want. Just like the mechanical gears, there's plenty of adjustments you can make to make sure the shifting is as you want it. Now this is all done through an app which lets you change the position and the way it clicks on the shifter, as well as adjusting the derailleur to make sure all the gears are shifting just as you would expect them to be. To remove the derailleur battery, it's really simple. You just lift up this little catch here and then they just pop out. And then to put them back in, you just need to line up the little latch at the bottom with the gap down here, and you'll see a little green light on the outside to make sure it's in. Just like that. With the drivetrain, you also get some clips that attach both to the battery and to the drivetrain just to protect everything and keep it safe. So these are the SRAM batteries that you're going to have for your derailleur, and they come with these red plastic protectors to keep them safe. And they connect the same way as they do on the derailleur. Just slot it in the bottom and clip it in over top. A gully to start. It gets quite dark in this section. Getting a bit narrow. And we're out. Very good. Gears changing super nice and quick for us to pedal back to the top. This is the charger for your derailleur batteries, and just like the bike, they slot into the bottom and then click in really nice and easy. And then to get them out, just push the button and they pop right out. So when you're at home, you can put it in your plugs or your sockets and everything to charge, but it also can be quite good for your car, because a lot of cars now have USB ports. So this can be plugged straight into your car and you can be charging your batteries on the way to a ride. Or if you've got yourself a nice power bank, then again, you can charge your batteries on the way to the bike place. So if you have forgot to charge them, you could still get a ride in. Let's go for it. Some nice jump line into some nice rollers at the bottom. Some good tech. Jump. Oh gosh, don't know what that rock is all about. Now let's talk about some of the potential issues you may face with this drivetrain. And one of them that I think straight away stands out for me is it's another thing to charge. You've got both a battery in the shifter and then you've got the battery in the derailleur that you need to make sure is charged before you ride. Otherwise, you're probably not going to get very far. A lot of us are going to be coming from normal analog bikes where you normally could just get the bike out of the shed, take it on a ride, and that's that. But now we are starting to have these electric components like the shifting, and also SRAM have the electric dropper posts. So there are going to be more of these things that we're going to need to charge, but it's not something we would have done prior to this. So it's definitely something that we could easily forget to do. Oh, it's not the line. One of the tips though that I would say to help avoid this is to get yourself some spare batteries. So the batteries are really small, and as I said, they've got some protective cases on them. So charge a couple up, put one in your bike and then carry one in your bag, just in case there's any issues or you forget to charge it, you still got another one on spare. For the shifter as well, is absolutely a no-brainer to carry a spare battery, as they use these watch style batteries or batteries that you might have in like your car key. And they're so cheap, they're like a couple of pounds, so small, so you can just buy a load of them, keep a few in your bag, and then you've got plenty of spares. Now this is super important because I had an experience when I first used some electric gears on a demo bike, and after 2 trails, they died, and it was the shifter. So something as small and simple as a £2 battery could have saved my ride. Don't do this one as often. Let's have a go. Oh, a bit tight with the trees there. Man, this bike's good fun. Gears are solid, and the quick changes there. Can't even hear it. And then you want to climb, straight away, change up, and we're good to go. One of the slight concerns I have about this drivetrain is that the fact that with mechanical drivetrain, I know what I'm doing and I can fix that and sort it if there's any issues. But when it comes to electric, I don't really know, and I feel that it's going to be a little bit harder to fix. And we all know that technology can have its issues, so I just feel that's something that if you've got a problem, you're probably going to have to take it to a bike shop. The drivetrain is super sensitive, so it's very easy when you're just moving the bike or packing the bike, or even when the bike's in the car, for you to hear that little squeak and it's trying to change gear. Yep, they're definitely quite sensitive. This is my resting position quite often, but as you can see, it's right on the shifter, so every time I slightly move my knee, I keep changing gear. I'm going to go for the right line. Whoa, said it's going to get messy. They're good though, nice and dry. Now let's talk about the main negative about this drivetrain. It's the price. It is a very expensive component, and it's a very big jump to take to get some electric gears. Not only is it a lot of money, but I can definitely see that more and more of these bikes are coming with this drivetrain. So this particular model, this is Dad's bike, and it's a spec he wanted with the Fox Kashima suspension, but he had to go for the electric gears. There's no customization, and that was the spec they put with it. But what that is also then doing is really ramping up the price of the bike. So for people who want to have some nice suspension and good components, are they then going to have to almost feel forced to go for electric gears? Now SRAM have made it very clear that this drivetrain is super durable, so hopefully you won't have to be replacing components very often, so it will outweigh that big hefty price up front. But as I said, I do think that price up front is very big, so hopefully in the future we'll start to see that come down to something more reasonable. Some tip. Let's see how Dad's bike handles in this area. Suspension is so good. Now for some little tips that are going to help you if you do have this drivetrain or you want to buy it, how you can make sure you get a really good experience. My first tip is that when you're transporting the bike, especially like in the car, it's a good idea to take the battery out and put in one of those connectors. Because what that does is it just stops the bike shifting, because it is very sensitive and it's very easy in the car when you're going over a bump for it to try and shift itself, which can put strain on the derailleur, which you don't really want. So like I say, this makes it a lot easier. Take the battery out, put the cap in, and you don't have to worry about it. This is also going to be really useful when you're washing the bike, just to make sure that you don't get any water all over the battery. We're out. Another really important tip is just buy yourself some spare batteries and keep them on your bag when you're on a ride or in your pocket. They're very small, but they're really going to save you when you're out on a ride, especially the shifter ones. They're so cheap, so you can buy plenty of them, and then you've got them in case you ever have any issues. If you have come to a situation where your shifter has died, you aren't actually stranded. There is a little way that you can get around it. Let me show you. So on the derailleur here, there's a little button, and what that does is allow you to manually move the derailleur. So one click and it will shift to a harder gear, 2 clicks and it shifts to an easier gear. So it can be a little bit of a way to get yourself home. You can put it into the gear you want and then you can still ride the bike. Another tip is to make sure you download the app and actually have a look at it and use it regularly, because it's going to allow you to make a few adjustments to your bike to make sure it's always shifting right, and it's up to your preferences. But you can also use it to check all the battery levels to make sure that nothing's going to run out or die when you're on your next ride. That's me done for today. Time for my honest review on these electric gears. So I've been super impressed with the drivetrain, and I can see it being a really good upgrade on your bike, especially if you're into the racing and like your EWS. That's going to be really beneficial to have the electric gears with how fast it is and also how durable it is on those hard hits. My main concern though is still the price. I really do feel that that price needs to come down to make it something that's more of an option for more people, because right now it's just really, really expensive. But anyway, please let me know in the comments what you think about the electric gears. What are your thoughts? Do you gonna just stick to the mechanical stuff? But yeah, please let me know. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another ride.